Right now, you're just running into these beings, into these energies. I'm trying to talk about, you're not going to memorize these all perfectly, all right away. You're going to run into this 5, 10 times to start seeing it in this chart, you start seeing it 10. By the time you do 100 charts, you may have seen how Mercury works. You may see how the moon works in half of them. You may see how the sun works. Then in 10 or 20 of them, you may see, oh, there's the Mars working. Another one, and you may see 5 or 10 where you got a sense of the Jupiter. They're not all, they're all at different sizes, different distances, different frequencies. We don't have as intimate a relationship or as conscious a relationship to each of them, but they're recognizable. When you start tuning into them, you see these things and you see when they go right or when they go wrong. What makes someone successful? Usually it's a good Jupiter. What makes something go bad or fail? It's a wrong understanding. And you can say, well, you do all the right things at home. It depends on the gangs and the kids and what's fair in the school, or depends what's fair on the streets, or if they get in trouble, how extreme is the punishment? Like all of these things, this is Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. But Jupiter is the hinge trying to understand what the responsibilities and the laws and the rules are so they can guide the actions better. But if Jupiter doesn't understand, if the person doesn't understand responsibility or has a wrong understanding of it, they're going to have a wrong guidance to their Mars. I mean, so Mars, like for teenagers, say high school kids or university kids, they're studying, they're doing their things. So they have a party, they're going to get a party, they're going to be dancing, they're going to try and score, they're going to be drinking, they're going to be acting out. And they're going to get, one drink will lead to two, they want to act it out, and everybody's going to be on this high adrenaline, acting out more and more and seeing what they can get away with. Of course, many people get too drunk, they wipe out. So other people get too passionate and they get experiences. Some people, somebody might get pregnant, someone might get, in a big party, you don't know. But then if the police show up, everyone's going to be mad. Why stop the energy? We're just having fun. Don't come in and stop it. So the Jupiter, the sense of right and wrong, it exaggerates things, and it's easy to self-justify whatever we're doing, especially when we're angry. So if the Mars is dictating the Jupiter, it's the wrong way around and we get in trouble. If the Saturn is dictating the Jupiter, we may not have much choice. It's wiser, but we may not have all the choices of what we can do. So this is a mix for everybody. It's always Jupiter's trying to understand, trying to assimilate that, well, this happened to me. Well, this wasn't fair. Well, what am I going to do? That's not fair. Do I get back? Do I wait? What do I do? How do I learn from this experience? That's Jupiter. Fascinating. These planets are very fascinating, and especially how they work together, but they're usually interpreted in the astrology books a little too simply. Well, a little too archetypally. God's plan of war or sex or aggression. They don't see how it works with the Jupiter and the Saturn. You don't see many books putting this. There are some books out there that do it, but to me it's become a major useful insight to see these planets working together, the Mars, the Jupiter, and the Saturn. Okay. So when we get to Saturn, another one of the big planets, Saturn's a 30-year cycle, 28 and a half, 29 years. So we only have 3 cycles of Saturn in a lifetime if we live a full life. Where, okay, if we put it to body parts, Mars is your muscles and your strength. Saturn is your bones and your skin, and your teeth, and your joints. And Jupiter is like your liver. It's how you're assimilating things, or digesting things. So somebody drinks too much, they get cirrhosis of the liver. Someone eats too much to the moon, they get fat. Like all these things will come up. There's many associations to each of these things when we're getting labels. What I want you to see is sort of the energy behind it. Saturn is the limit, the edge. It's how much have you accomplished with your time? How much are you strong enough to do? Can you be responsible? Can you be disciplined? Can you make an effort? These are all Saturnian things, our relationship to responsibility, to authority. What's it come from? Our parents. Our father is the Saturn. And who's responsible? The father's there or not there. The father's weak, or the father's too strict, or the father's like, how we run into discipline comes from our father. If we have a weak father, we're going to have a weak sense of ambition and authority later on. So what you have when you're born, your chart is the situation between your parents when you're born. So you have it as your character, but it's also somewhat connected. Your character is somewhat connected to the parents and the people around you as you come into life. But Saturn's the limits. You only have so much energy before you burn out. You know, like, oh, if you have kids, you usually want to play after school and run around and get tired, so when they come home, they go to sleep. If they just come home and they watch TV or get on their computers, by the time it's 8 o'clock, time to go to bed, they're fighting, they don't want to go to bed. But if you've been active all day, usually you'll be tired by the evening and you're ready for a good rest. Same way, we have our muscles and our bones. You could argue all life is a mixture of Mars and Saturn, muscles and bones. But how do we move them? How do we expand? How do we learn how to do things with our muscles and bones? The muscles want to push things, and they can push so hard that they break the bones. No good. The bones want to hold things and be strong, and they want to resist the muscles. And that can make someone much more inhibited. This is both physically, health-wise, on many different levels. So Saturn is your bones and your structure. So how strong is your back? How strong is how good are your teeth? You know, and it's your skin also, which is the edge, the limits of your body. So eczema is a Saturn problem. Skin problems, rashes and fevers, they're Mars. But dry skin and dry things and itches, they're Saturn. But we have how tall are we, how small are we, when we're born, how strong is our bones, you know, how secure is our environment. The Saturn builds up, it shows as our strength of our limits, it shows from our parents and how they're taking care of things that need to be done or not, how responsible they are. We pick this up. And the Saturn is, it's what you can it's what you can accomplish, but what you accomplished is based on how much you're prepared to work to get what you want. You can do anything you want, Mars. You can climb a mountain. You can do anything, skateboarding and whatever. But if you're going to be good at it, you're going to survive at it, you're going to have to practice and prepare and do a lot of work to get good. So you're going to have to do a lot of the aggressive qualities of Mars. You're going to have to use the energy again and again and again, Jupiter, but you're going to have to discipline until you get control of what you're doing and you can get good at what you're doing. In any sport, in any business, in anything in life, how do you get control? How do you have discipline? How much discipline do you have? How much restraint can you exercise? Wow, we see it driving. I mean, we're driving along. How many people drive past the speed limit? How many people know how to be cautious and pause and let other people go in front of them? We get a little bit here and there, but just Saturn is our parents and the authority of our parents and really the health and capacity of our parents too, but really the father. And once it's not the father, it becomes our teachers. They're the authority figures. They're teaching us to expand us, but they also have rules they have to follow, like in the school. And after the teachers, it's the boss or the police or the rules. We always are going to run into these restrictions and limitations, and then we have to learn what to do. Some people just try and plow at them and fight any restrictions. Some people learn how to use them and defend it and be prepared. So the idea of Saturn is being prepared. If you want to do something, Mars, do you understand that you need the preparation? Do you understand how much preparation is needed? Do you understand how to work or discipline yourself or how to listen to parents or follow rules? Wow, this is all Saturn. So when it works positively over time, we get accomplishments, we achieve things. These are all keywords for Saturn. We get respect, we have honor, we have dignity. These are all like good things, the honor, our dignity, our self-respect. This is all Saturn. Our self-discipline, our Saturn. But when it's not that, it's poor discipline, it's disrespect, it's dishonor, I'll never work at anything, why bother? If we don't have a sense of limits, we don't have the defenses to know, no, I don't want to have drugs, no, I don't want to get into bad problems. Saturn is your brakes. And it's very important, if you're going to drive, you got to know how to use the brakes too. So we get experiences, we expand them as much as we can, and we push things to the limit. Saturn's the limit. If we go past the limit, we're going to get hurt. If we learn to work within our limits, we can develop a sense of timing and control that really gains respect in life. So some people can do this, some people can't. We all do it to various degrees. And a lot depends on this mixture of how Mars works, how Jupiter works, how Saturn works. Jupiter is always trying to listen to both what I want to do and what are the rules, or what's right or wrong. And Saturn's always saying this has to be worked at. This is the goal. This is the accomplishment. Mars wants to get it, but doesn't always want to work hard enough to get it. And there's always somebody else who can be better than you and can do the same thing. So that's a symbol of Saturn. It's like a cross, almost like an H, but it's like a little curve on the end of it, the cross for the Earth. And Jupiter was on the side. This is a wave of Jupiter, and then another wave. It's the next planet after Jupiter. This, like I said, Mark Edwin Jones in his book on the signs of the zodiac, he goes into the symbolism very nicely. And other people do as well, but he's done it very well. And we're seeing Saturn's coming up, higher up on this cycle here. The faster moving planets are low on the spiral, and the slower moving planets are further out. So it's really like a funnel. But this need for respect, the need for dignity, the need to achieve something. I did this, I made something happen. If it's when you want to run, stand up for the first time, you got to keep trying and practicing. You hold on to something and finally you let go, finally you do things. If you want to ride a bike, you got to have some guidelines or something holding while you first ride it till you get your bearings around how to do it. Otherwise you're going to crash. You want to do anything. You want to play a sport, you want to dance, you want to accomplish things, you want to compete with other kids at school, you want to impress a girlfriend. All of these things are going to take some effort. Or you're going to look like you're out of control. Now, some people want somebody that's out of control, some people, but different. Like when it gets to two people, there's double the attitudes and double this complication. It's a challenge to live 24 hours in a day. It takes energy, effort, and discipline, restraint, and some responsibilities to get through it properly. And anytime we compromise this, it catches up on us and weakens us at other times in our life. So Saturn is this Jupiter's your understanding, but Saturn is your ability to listen and see the rules. You see the respect. The rules of your bones, you don't push it so far you hurt your bones. The rules of your skin, what's healthy, what's not. Rules of people in authority. It's how do you keep busy with your time? How do you work? It's your work ethic.